Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome to another episode of the FairDinkum podcast. What does it really feel like to live in the city of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? After 14 months of traveling around the world, 45 countries, Ashraf is finally back on the podcast. He broke all things down about how you can really afford to live and study in Medina and the unseen side of the lifestyle in Medina, the struggles, the beauty and the barakah. Sit back and enjoy this episode.
And so I used to always ask Uber drivers, oh, let's hang out. And they used to be like, yeah, I'm down, teach me English, whatever. Yeah. Every time they called me, it was 11 p.m. Why they called me at 11 p.m.? I'm going to sleep and I get a call and it says Osama from Bolt and then Zaid from Bolt. And I'm like, and I'd answer, I'm like, sure. He goes, Dal, come to the cafe. And I'm like, bro, it's 11 p.m. I got Fajr class. These guys stay up. Most of them do all-nighters. Mm-hmm. And the shops, supermarket closes 3 a.m. And like, I used to finish class at 12. And I used to go gym before Fajr. I used to be like, Fajr to Dhuhr, I'm good. Then it's like 12 to 3 or 12 to 5. Like, everything's closed. You know, like siesta, qaylula. Very different. I can't go supermarket. I can't go here. And I'm like, man, I just want to have a flow on my day, get an early night. So it's like, that's literally what the culture of the people is. You know, it's like, you hear these analogies. Like, he says, like, congratulations, you're Madanis. He literally said, congratulations. The other guy's zakat. One guy told me, people of Medina are like fish. Take them out of the water, take them out of Medina, and they die. And it's like, damn. And it's like, you hear this stuff just by talking to people, and you're like, we're not as proud of where we come from. You know, like, we're not saying, oh, we're from Melbourne or this and that. So this is like, and there's a link to Islam through us. You know, we're the caretakers of the Prophet's mosque, and we're the, you know, Allah. Like, one guy, my teacher, Arabic teacher, 10 years in Medina. His kids are in Egypt. And he goes, I can get a job in Egypt. Paid it, I can do that. But his teacher said, Allah has blessed made your risk in Medina. Do not go elsewhere for it. Your risk, all your money, your livelihood to take care of your family is in Medina, so do not go elsewhere. And that's his mindset. He goes, 10 years without my kids. Very tough. I go 1 month a year. Allah put my money to make in Medina. Look at these guys' perspective on a location. Us, we're just like, yeah, whatever, Melbourne, Sydney, wherever my risk is, we'll go. But these guys are like, have just a different level of thinking. That's the one thing. Like, for example, knowledge is usually for yourself to get close to Allah. But when you can have like a shared memory, you get closer with people, you know? Like, even when people come on Umrah and I do Umrah with them, like, now we look back, we're like, man, that was crazy, you know? So it's always nicer if you can, you know, doing it with your spouse, you know? Like, what I wanted to really change was all the boys in Melbourne that we know went to overseas when they were single. Obviously more money, you know, easier, less responsibilities, and they go. Not a lot of boys were doing it when they got married from my area. So it's a good thing to be like, marriage doesn't have to stop you from chasing your dreams. It might change the dreams a little, maybe make it a bit more expensive, but like, your life doesn't stop when you get married, you know? Whatever it is, travel. That's literally why I didn't just do Arabic and come home. Like, oh, that's the guy that went and studied Arabic. It's like, no, I'm also traveling the world, you know? Whatever dream it is, you can just do it. But a lot of people have a different perspective. Like, I'll do it all and then I'll get married. Boring, bro.
FairDinkum.
Alright, bismillah.
I'm back, everyone.
This is an interesting one, bro. Hang on a second. Let's do this right.
Yeah, up to you.
Go for it, bro.
I was going to say, yeah, people are watching. It's been 14 months of travel, but alhamdulillah, Ashraf's back in the room. Welcome back, bro.
Thank you very much.
How does-
Temporarily. Let's tell the audience,
so
temporarily.
there's more travel we're going to talk about, inshallah. How does it feel? Does it feel strange to be back in the studio?
It feels a bit normal.
Yeah?
Because you've been on the couch that many times. It's not like I did the podcast for 3 months, 6 months. We've done this hundreds of times. So it's honestly just feels normal. Feels like I'm just back with the boys. Everything gels like that, even after a long holiday.
Yeah, it's amazing, yeah?
You
Because
know?
you've been catching up with people for the past week or so, and you just feel like conversations flowing like it was yesterday, yeah?
It's people you have connections with. It's just easy.
Yeah.
You know?
So is this the norm now, or is traveling going to be the norm, being on the road?
The next chapter, 6 months to a year, travel on the road, and then after that, settle back in Melbourne or Medina, whatever. Life changes so quickly, bro.
Yeah.
Life changes so quickly. So I have I used to have 5-year plans. I was like, this is what I want to do, bro. I haven't done a 5-year plan in a minute. But I'm literally like chasing my dreams. So I know it's like, khalas, man, like, you know,
Yep.
spent 3 months traveling now, then Medina, 8 months.
Yeah.
You're chasing dreams.
Exactly. Talking about chasing dreams, alhamdulillah, you've lived through one, and I think you've lived through many people's dream of living in Medina, the city of the Prophet. Let's start from how this came about, because a lot of people have this idea like, oh, I'd love to go, you know, just visit for Umrah. It starts with that usually, yeah? And you develop, of course, the love for these sacred cities. You want to go more often, then it's like, I want to study. Oh my God. Now, alhamdulillah, we can say you've lived there as a married man, alhamdulillah. You've lived there for more than 6 months, I can say, and you can correct me on that. let's talk about how this developed. How did the idea come about, and how did you actually make it happen?
I can tell you, on my third visa, my 90-day visa, I have like 9 days left. So I did 8 months, like 22 days, something like that. That's how long it was.
The 90-day visa, you did what?
In my 90-day visa, I used like 82 days. So I left like a week so I can do Umrah again in the year.
Nice.
So I don't have to wait.
Okay. Nice,
Yeah, so I literally did right under 9 months in Medina. The thing is, my wife and I, like as soon as I got married, I said one of my goals is firstly for her to try to learn some Arabic, because I'd like to, teach the kids some Arabic, and it's good for her to learn a second language. And I said we want to go overseas. I feel like that experience in itself, I look back on my time in Jordan and said that's one of the best time of my life, and I wanted to share that with my wife. I could have easily went and studied by myself Arabic, Quran, done this, but then I would improve and not my wife. And there's not like a level of standard experiences, pressure, learning a language, being in a new environment. It will make you both grow together. So I said I have to do that with my wife. That was one of the main things. So when we got married, that was the main. That was one of the things I brought up. And then we had to wait for her to finish uni. So it was always in the cards, like moving overseas, and I had to keep planting the seed. Where should we go? So obviously I knew Jordan was good. Ali's been to Egypt. All the boys in Egypt. Egypt's the most like cost effective, like to actually enjoy yourself. And we did Umrah. And on our first Umrah, this actually goes a bit crazy. So on our first Umrah, those cute Turkish notebooks that look like a Quran in the back? I'll show you one day. Do I have it?
Yeah, I'm
like one of those aesthetic books, okay? So on our honeymoon, one Umrah, we're in Mecca, and we said, why don't we write a list of all the dreams we want to do one day? Like all, for example, places we want to go, skills we want to learn, even random things. She's like, I want to do a barista course. I want to learn how to make nice coffees. I'm like, I want to do skydiving. I want to do bungee jumping. And then one of the goals was live in Medina, because everyone just has it, but it wasn't an actual thing. And then like a year later, after my honeymoon, I'm just reading through and I'm like, live in Medina. I'm like, all right, maybe that's possible. And then I'm looking at options, finances, what the budget can do. And I called my friend Omar Asiya, who's studying in Medina, Abu's brother. I called him. I said, bro, I'm trying to go to Egypt. What's the cost per month, for a couple? How long can I go for? What's the go around? Give me some details. So we do a phone call about that. And then he goes, I'm like, how's Medina life? He goes, bro, Medina's the best place ever. I said, can I study Arabic in Medina? He goes, no, go to Egypt. That's what he told me. I'm like, okay. Because no one has ever moved to Medina that hasn't been at the Jamia in our community. That's just like for the sake of moving. Yeah, at the university. No one's been like, oh, I'm going to move there. And I don't see it on social media. So I thought it was like a closed book. And then I'm like, he goes, go to Egypt. I'm like, all right. And then I spoke to Jamima. She goes, Medina, like being so close to the Prophet, going to Umrah, whenever you want, there has to be a way to do it. I do research online. I'm like, how can I do this? And then there wasn't even a lot online, but I just said, we're just going to figure it out. I called back Omar, like 2 days later, I said, but I'm coming Medina. I didn't care what the cost is, because obviously more expensive. I said, we're going to do it. And then I said, find me an accommodation. And then as soon as that 2-day shift, the next day, Omar calls me and Muhsin. Both of them contacted the same guy. They're like, bro, an Aussie student is leaving and his wife's expecting. You can take his apartment. Everything paid for, everything furnished. You come in. I'm like a couple streets away from Omar. And then I'm like, nah, it can't be that easy. Because normally finding a place is 12-month contract, expensive. Aussie, he goes, no, I got you. Literally in 2 days. Then, like this is when Allah opens the doors. As soon as I get there, the guy goes, take my car for free as well. Wow. And it's like a car costs as much as rent there. It's 2,000 riyals a month, $800 to rent a car. I rented it in January this year. It's like you go there and it just opens the doors. The Arabic was easy, Quran. I messaged in a group chat, I want a Quran teacher. One guy goes, come for free every day after Fajr for 1 hour, one-on-one. He goes, I'm like, never met the guy at a local mosque. And I did that for free. It's like you literally just, you write it down as a dream. And then after that, you don't even think about it, but you wrote it down the first step, And then after that, you just say, why not? Let's try. That's all it is, trying. Yeah. Like Muhammad Awad said, it's not about having a detailed plan, whatever. You try, you reach out to one person. I didn't even do deep. Omar, then I reached out to Muhsin. The guy calls me, he goes, just take it. I get there, a car, it's like,
So
you know?
what was that switch though? Because I think a lot of people, if they were to call their friend, you know, that's in Saudi or Egypt, and then they say something like this, where it's like, don't come here. I recommend somewhere else. A lot of people might even try again. They'll be like, okay, or they'll just stay home in Australia, where it's like someone might say it's too expensive. It's not worth it. What was the switch that made you just try again?
It's Medina. If it was Egypt or Jordan and someone goes, go Egypt, you'll be like, what's the difference? Really, what's like, okay, one's cheaper, one's this, but you're talking peanuts, like, you know, $100 here now. It's like, you're talking about Medina. It's like, regardless of the price, if you're praying Masjid Nabawi 6 times a week, you're going Umrah every month. Bro, like, think about it. If you're going to say, if cost per living is, for example, even 2,000 Australian a month or 3,000, but you pray every single day in Masjid Nabawi and you include a Umrah in that. But who cares, like, about, you know? This is why you save your money there.
Yeah,
because you get to do this. It wasn't that expensive. And you guys know I've been a saver. That's all it was.
How far were you from Masjid Nabawi when you were staying in Medina?
My last place I was walking distance.
Wallah, how many?
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20-minute walk.
That's pretty good, mashallah.
Yeah. Before that, so I used to be on the Baqi side.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
And that's where there used to be a road. It used to take 5 minutes to get there by driving. And that road closed. So it used to be a 10, 15-minute drive. But most of the schedule, like Fajr, for example, I used to go to the local mosque and do the class with the teacher.
Yep.
Then I'd do Arabic until about Dhuhr, Asr at home. And then I'd go Maghrib Isha most nights. Like Sunday to Thursday. And then Friday I'd go Jummah to Asr, something like that. And Saturday, depends on the week. But you'd go every day.
This is a crazy question, but where would you park in Medina, bro? In Masjid Nabawi?
Under.
There's actually parking?
I took the boys, all the boys from the tours. Every time, like, come, let me take you to the car park. 4,500 car park slots, right under, massive. It used to be 1 riyal until COVID. From when it got built, I think in the 90s, to COVID, it used to be 1 riyal. Now it's 2 riyal an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, you just park, boom. But these experiences, like, bro, I drove 6 months in Saudi. Everywhere around, like, you actually feel like a local. It's not the tourist experience.
I remember this guy telling me, like, I was planning to come to Medina to come visit him and that, and he's like, yeah, I'll try to find you a car, we'll park on the ground. Like, there's no parking, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And
like,
then
I was like, hey, put a car.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I actually got a car when I was there for 10 days, and it was just like this whole world that you just introduced to. It's like you had no idea exists, because you're solely focused on walking to the mosque or getting dropped off. You know, your ibadah and stuff. You don't recognize the things on the outer part.
I got Ali a place. He stayed there, I think, 10 days in Medina. I got him a car. He was paying like close to $800 a month for rent. He's paying like $30 a day. He was there 10 days, $300. Car rental, same thing, $300. Like $600. He had a car in Medina 10 days, drove where he wanted, ate where he wanted, did whatever he wanted.
Yeah, how was your driving experience in Saudi?
Bro, that was the second time I've driven on the other side of the road. But Saudi, look.
You're nuts, bro.
That's the thing. This is what it is. I was literally, whenever people came, it's like, it's Bedouins that got a car. And there's no rules in the Bedouin culture. They're just driving like left, right. No, I didn't indicate for 6 months. Wallah, I don't think I indicated for 6 months.
No seatbelts. Apparently, if you wear a seatbelt, it's
no
offensive.
seatbelts, yeah.
They know
Actually,
you're a foreigner, yeah?
Only the driver. My first day, I got fined twice.
For
One day.
No seatbelt?
To the mosque and back. They send you the fine on WhatsApp.
What?
They send you like on like apps and messages. Everything's online.
So casual.
They send you texts.
Wait. What'd you get a fine for?
No seatbelt.
So it's legit?
Yeah, for the driver.
Oh, for the driver. For everyone else, then
yeah,
okay.
I didn't even not have my seatbelt. I put my seatbelt under my arm. Because it was a bit, I didn't like when I got the car, I didn't fix things. I'm like, it's uncomfortable. Let me put it
You
under.
just don't want to crease your throat, bro. Don't want to.
I didn't have a nice
That's
thobe when I
true.
got there. Tailored thobes, man. That's the.
So tell us a little bit more. So like now you're living in Medina, you go into your Arabic classes, and now you have a car to explore. In Medina, what were the places to explore? So if somebody was to go to Medina now, what were, like, besides Masjid Nabawi, obviously, and Masjid Quba and all that sort of stuff. Quba is in Medina, yeah?
Yeah.
What are the other places that people have to explore?
So there's obviously the Islamic sites, which is nice to do, but then there's also the Medina sites. Like there's a nice park, like King Fahad Park. There's Uhud Mountains, and you can do like a hike up, which is really nice to do. And then there's nice different areas for shopping. Oh no, for like food and vibes, and like, you know, you feel the culture and stuff like that. So there's a place called Sultana, which has all new restaurants. It's right next to Qiblatain, like walking distance from Qiblatain. It's really nice, you know, like for different restaurants. Because they have very nice food in Saudi. Honestly, the food quality is actually really high outside of Masjid Nabawi hotel vicinity. Because those guys don't care about quality.
Yeah.
They're just
Efficiency.
they'll just get the next guy in the next day. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So going Sultana is nice. Where I was, Rabwa, Hayl Arid, Noor Mall. All these places, you know, even Quba Walk. The walkway is very nice.
Yep.
From Quba Mosque to Masjid Nabawi, 4 kilometers strip. The thing is though, it's not... Medina has its essence. Like for example, Mecca is big shopping. Like clock towers and Safwa towers and what else they got?
Jabal something.
I'm forgetting everything.
Yeah,
Whoa, it's been
fine.
a long time.
Yeah, it has
All
been.
my travels.
Say it in Kazakhstani, bro. You want?
But they got Safwa towers, Mecca towers, they got clock towers,
Yep.
and they got the Jabal Umar Street. That
Mm.
street. There's a shopping center there. Damn, I used to be like a tour guide at these places. Now I forgot it all. But Mecca is a lot more for travel. And you ask that people always say, where should I shop? And it goes back. The beauty of these places is it keeps its essence, its fitrah. Even before Prophet Muhammad ﷺ became a prophet, Mecca was known as a city of trade. Everyone came from all these different places and used to sell their goods there. It's always been a city of trade. Medina, what? Was date farm or just farmers. It's a city of, you know, calmness, relaxing, ease. So that they still have their essence. When you go there, Medina, it's just people just doing whatever they want. Mecca's running around, people selling stuff, screaming at you. That's what the fitrah of the city was before the Prophet became a prophet, which is beautiful to see, you know. But these places are, everyone's just ibadah, even the locals. I try to hang out with my boys. They're like, oh, I got class Asr to Isha. Isha finishes 9, you drive home, and then 9:30, and then you go to sleep, and you're like, I got class after Fajr. Like everyone, you might think it's high socializing, but it's really high ibadah, which is a very good thing. Like it's not a bad thing at all. You know, you got your studies, you hit your goals, but then if you don't have family, you miss out on a lot. You still need that social connection, especially when you got friends there. You crave it more. You know, my wife as well, she wanted to hang out with the girls. So sometimes people have dinners like once a month, you know? So
Once a month is crazy. Seeing people just to socialize once a month
Yeah, I
is
know.
crazy. So you have to bump into randoms. I remember when we went to Mecca, Medina, we met a bunch of Irish brothers.
and you socialize, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
That's
like,
cool, though.
you guys actually want to hang out with each other,
Yeah.
but like, you're Irish, they're all Palestinian and all this, you know. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, there's no way you guys exist, bro. You
Yeah.
guys are weird, man.
Every
Muslim brothers
nationality
as
in the
They were
well.
so
world.
good, man. They
Yeah,
were so
mashallah.
like down to earth, but they were just like, imagine the UK, the British brothers, but with an Irish accent. They were like very on deen, mashallah.
So much cooler to hang out with them though, yeah? Irish accent.
100%.
The only thing is, it's eventually it's like temporary.
Yeah.
You need, it's the same converse every time. You know, like I used to have a rule, like every day I'll talk to someone new. I mentioned Nabawi, just ask them where they're from. I have so many numbers, I don't even know like the places, you know. You just meet someone, it's like, oh, let me take your WhatsApp. Maybe I'll come to your country one day. Because I actually might, you know. It's beautiful having these connections, but then you still crave that family connection, socializing and switching off. Just hanging out with the boys. So at the end, we started playing paddle, started playing, you know, soccer more, stuff like that. But every place has different requirements and different things you have to be ready for. And Jordan was very different. Like if you go to Jordan or Egypt or anywhere else to study, you'll go to class, you go to the mosque and you'll leave straight away. Like you literally go to Salat, pray Sunnah and you leave. But now we're going to a mosque and I'm just sitting there for an extra hour and a half. And Dream was like, what do you want to do? I'm like, let's just sit here. And we just sit outside like this, looking at Masjid Nabawi. We're like, how beautiful is this? Like it's a different world, but every night you're doing that. So you don't have the time to socialize, and people don't prioritize socializing.
Bro, 100,000 times more each salah. How crazy is that?
In Mecca, it's like that.
So yeah, you would want to make the most of the opportunity. So, but like what's your advice on like getting the right balance of being able to do what you want to do, especially if you have a short period of time, like 10 days or whatever it is when you're doing Umrah or whatever else you're doing there? Like, how would you balance it?
I think shopping is the main distraction for a lot of people because you can be never ending when you're doing Umrah. When you're in a tight time frame, even it's not even just about like ibadah, but even just time for reflection. Like now we look back on that time, we wrote a list of 30 plus things. Man, like now when I go Umrah, I take that book and I read the entire list every Umrah. Like I'm like, just boom, let's do this stuff. You know, it's like you need time for reflection, especially when you're in these blessed lands. It's not like, it's not shopping, prayer, do as much as you can of a prayer, shopping, maybe keep shopping until the end.
Yeah.
Like until you've done everything. It's like, last day, let me force it. Because when you give yourself a time restriction, you fill it and you will probably perfect everything. You just rush, okay, I want this. You won't care about $2 here and there, haggling, or this shop's cheaper by 5 riyals. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Especially when it's 100,000 times the reward.
Yeah.
But I think if you can just reflect, man, because these moments is when you think it's like, oh, can we live here? I'd love to come back more. Or let's have a, for example, when we got married, I said my goal is Umrah every 3 years. That's what I said. And then
nice one,
ended up living there. But it's like you set these stuff because you go and like, man, I love this feeling. It's the sweetest thing in the world. I don't want to go years without it. That's all it is. You don't have to go every year because sometimes you might have other commitments. But it's like, okay, let me have a goal I can keep for life. Kids, no kids, whatever it is, once every 3 years is doable.
Inshallah. Well,
you save it.
to you, bro.
I mean, inshallah.
One thing that I noticed when I was in Medina or in Mecca as well, when I was doing Umrah, was the lifestyle switch. You go from being somebody who has to wake up, stay up after Fajr and go, you know, like try and make some money. You got a bunch of other things to do. And then you go to a place where everybody's not starting the day until the sun goes down. How was that switch for you, bro?
Bro, these guys stay up late.
Yeah.
So I used to make Saudi mates on purpose because when you're in Saudi, everyone's a talib al-ilm. Like even like everyone understands that's why you're there in Medina. So everyone is a student of knowledge and they respect speaking Fusha. Classical Arabic, then no one's going to laugh at you for speaking because they know you came, you want to get closer to Allah, stuff like that. So no one's ever going to laugh at you. But then I wanted to learn Saudi slang. Just to get like a bit on the streets. You're in the country. What's the point of just learning Fusha?
Rabbul Kaaba.
Yeah, wallah. And so I used to always ask Uber drivers, oh, let's hang out. And they used to be like, yeah, I'm down, teach me English, whatever.
Yeah.
Every time they called me, it was 11 p.m.
Why
they calling me at 11 p.m.? I'm going to sleep and I get a call and it says Osama from Bolt and then Zaid from Bolt. And I'm like, and I'd answer and like, sure. He goes, Dal, come to the cafe. And I'm like, bro, it's 11 p.m. I got Fajr class. These guys stay up. Most of them do all-nighters. And the shops, supermarket closes 3 a.m. It's and like, I used to finish class at 12. And I used to go gym before Fajr. I used to be like, Fajr to Dhuhr, I'm good. Then it's like 12 to 3 or 12 to 5, like everything's closed. You know, like siesta, qaylula, very different. I can't go supermarket, I can't go here. And I'm like, man, I just want to have a flow on my day, get an early night. I just sleep and then it was really hard adjusting.
But did your perception of your day feel longer because of that break in between? You kind of had like 2 days in one. You know, the Fajr Dhuhr is one day and then after the so-called, you know, qaylula siesta is your second day.
Not much because in the morning I did a lot. For example, Fajr class, Arabic, gym, then I'd come home, sleep. So I felt like that's a day. You do 3 things. I used to sleep, for example, 1 to 4, get ready, go mosque and come home and sleep. Like going to the mosque, Masjid Nabawi, praying Maghrib, Isha, sitting there, it didn't feel like a day activity. It was like a night activity. And that's the thing. People go from Dhuhr to Isha. Okay, it starts to become a bit normal and then you have to try to do things that, you know, keep the sweetness high, you know, go give salams to the Prophet, learn more of the history. Like, you just have to do different things.
Did you end up going to the Rawda again?
Yeah, man, alhamdulillah.
Did I let you in more than once?
They had the rule once every 365 days, but when I was there in February, they changed the rule to location. If you had put your GPS on, like your live location, and you're inside the vicinity, you can book. And it has slots every 20 minutes. If there's like didn't hit the cap, I'll just let you in.
Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy.
It's much better, bro.
Bro, the last day we flew out of Medina, 3 p.m. flight. And we spent the whole morning at Masjid Nabawi. We go there Fajr and we're there and we're just sitting outside. And then I got Dreamer, went to go take photos, like, you know, on a camera. And I'm like, let me just go on her phone and try to get, because the women are after Fajr. Let me try to get her at older. I'm just there clicking. And straight away, one popped up. And then I clicked it straight away because normally it doesn't work. It gets taken. And then I just booked it for her like that. Literally the last hour in Medina, we went from there. home, took our suitcase, airport. She got into the order.
Oh, that's
It was
amazing.
the second time only because that location in Ramadan.
Hmm.
And in those moments, you're like, man, like you can't plan any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Wallah, and any plan you have, Allah will have a better plan for you.
Yeah.
And you just have to be patient and try. That's it. If you just try, take 1 inch, like the quote everyone knows, you take a step, Allah will come in an arm's length. You walk, He'll run to you. These things just, wallah, if you try, the craziest things will happen.
Yeah.
Like Medina was crazy, man. Medina was crazy. Like you know how it was. Imagine living there.
Nah, that for me would be like complete.
But
How did
Umrah
you-
every month, bro. Think about that.
Yeah, I know. How did you counteract? Obviously, like you said earlier, like sometimes us as human beings, we kind of like we fall into this like it just becomes normal. We become desensitized to what we're seeing or what we are and what we're doing. How did you counteract that? Like, how did you stop that from happening?
Like keep the sweetness.
Yeah.
It's actually a very hard thing to do. You might think it's not because you're like, it's even the Kaaba.
Yeah.
I was desensitized to it after. I take people that cry and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I
nice
know what you mean.
start.
It's
Because
a weird way to frame it, but
so
it's true.
10 times in 10 months, like whatever it is.
Yeah, we're humans, bro.
Yeah. So Medina is a bit different because you're there every day. It becomes your local mosque.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to ask the boys, and they say you're obviously gonna have slumps, But I think one of the things I try to do is just the structure itself isn't sacred. Like for example, the Kaaba is sacred
Yeah.
to us, but the structure of the mosque can expand any direction at once. It can become a
Mhm.
diamond, it can become a rectangle, it can become a circle, and it's like, but the location is. And you just keep, like I used to make a specific dua, every day that Allah just makes me always have the love for Medina. Because it's obviously in our fitrah to always love Medina. So it's like realizing that the location itself is sacred, not just the structure. Because sometimes you look up in the mosque, like it's so beautiful. Even if it was a mud hut, like how it started, it was still a sacred location.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we beautify how the minarets look and how the dome looks and things like that. And then making dua as much as I can. But even if something becomes normal, it can still be sweet. Like we pray every single day, but there's times we have like the best salats of our life,
100%.
So you go on highs. I think leaving, like when I used to leave every 3 months, did help because you start to miss it, stuff like that. Or you leave for a new visa, I'd be like, man, I miss Medina, I miss sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Like you don't get sick of it.
Mm.
It's one of those things that I said, like my soul is in Medina, but then sometimes like my brain might be like in Melbourne thinking of family, I missed out on people's weddings, people having kids, stuff like that. It's like your brain might be there, but your soul and your heart is in Medina.
Yeah, I think compared to your studying time in Jordan, you're in a city where a lot of people are coming from Melbourne all year round as well. In terms of family or even just friends you haven't even seen, high school friends, like people you bump into once or twice in your life, how was that getting visitors all year round while having your study schedule?
I don't know if you know, Sus, but I had guests from October 15 to Jan 27 in my house.
What, they came stay with you? You
My
look at
house.
me.
The entire time guest. My wife and I weren't alone from that. We came August 4 when we arrived. First 2.5 months when it was 40 degrees, just us. Then I had guest. Ismail came. I let him stay 5 days. My mum came 4 days. And then my in-laws came for a month. When my in-laws, it was first time taking them
That's
Umrah.
1 month they stayed. That's crazy.
In-laws
Yeah.
left. Ali, my sister, my grandma,
Oh, no.
my sister came. Both my sisters. Then they stayed until late Jan. They stayed 1.5 months. So
Wow.
my perspective changed a lot, like throughout the experiences. Firstly, I went like 6 months, just my wife and I, just us two. Then we have to start learning different people. 1 week this person, 1 week that, a month this person, a month that. You have to change everything. And a lot of times it was people's first Umrah. My mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my sister, Hawa, like all these people. So I was able to host them. And a lot of them said they wouldn't have came if I wasn't there. Because I come free accommodation as long as you want in Medina. So one thing I started to change was when you go to Jordan, when you go to Egypt, your goal is, for example, memorize 2 juz, memorize 5 juz. I want to finish the Arabic course. I want to finish these 3 books, blah, blah, blah. Which is very good. It's like outcome goals. But then when you come to Medina, your perspective changes a little. And I only learned that when I got there. Because my goal was for Jameem and I to be fluent in Arabic and to memorize 5 juz. I'm not fluent. I didn't memorize my 5 juz. It's like I didn't achieve either of my goals, but I gained more from getting closer to Allah.
You tried?
Yeah, I tried. And when I got there, the boys are like, people come here, memorize the entire Quran, and then they lose their deen. People are fluent in Arabic but aren't practicing. Is that really the goal? Or is that the journey, and the goal really is to come close to Allah? And that's all it ever is. And then when I started having guests, that's when I started realizing it, because my routine dropped. I'd be out, Isha was like 9:30, I'd come home 10:30, they want to eat after, because we used to go mosque 5 to 9. So you leave 4:30, you eat at 4, people are hungry at 9. I got my mother-in-law, I can't be like, sorry, I have to sleep, I got to take it out. You know, she wants to try a new restaurant, this and that. And you start realizing like the importance of hosting, which is one thing. But then all the Medina students started telling me, it's like, one of the Omar told me, Abduhay told me that the zakat of living in Medina is hosting people. You know, the 2.5% of your money, the investment you do is what purifies your money. That's what zakat is. And you have it for ilm, skills, anything you have. The 2.5% of living in Medina to purify your stay is by hosting people. And I did it over 50% of my time. Over 50% of my time.
Huge.
And then it's like, okay, that's one thing. I called Omar and I'm like, bro, it's becoming too much. How do you balance it when your dad comes for a month, your sisters come for a month, and, you know, hosting people all the time? He goes, congratulations, you've left being a Melburnian and now you're a Madani. And I said, what are you talking about, bro? Like, obviously I live here, but I'm not one. He goes, a Madani, a person of Medina, an Ansar, would sacrifices themselves for the betterment of other people. And it's literally, that's Allah's description in Surah Hashr. It's like they prefer the muhajirin over themselves, even if they're in need. And when I heard that ayah, I'm like, whoa. And it's like, I saved money for years. And I took my wife on a risk, financial risk, career risk, to go and travel to the other side of the world. And then I still sacrificed my goals for other people. And it's like, damn. And that's literally the Ansar. What happened? The Muhajirin come, take my wife. Like literally your wife. Take my business.
Take my money.
Take anything. And it's like, how do you get that feeling? And that's through this sacrificing. And you only see that when you do it. And imagine a dream you've looked at for years. 2018 when we left, or 2017. I said, this is my dream. And then you go to Medina, you might only go once. And it's a tough thing to do. Because you came all this way.
Yeah.
You came, and now I'm like, do I regret hosting people this long? People wouldn't have came Umrah. But my grandma, for example, she went Umrah with my grandfather 6 months before he passed away.
There.
And she said, I'm never going Umrah again. I want my last memory to be with him. I'm in Medina and I call her and I say, come, I'm here. We'll host you for a month. And then she comes then she goes, okay, we'll do it. She came all the way. And then she goes, I never thought I'd do Umrah again. Thank you so much. And then I pushed her on a wheelchair for Umrah twice. That was the first time pushing someone. So I pushed her to do Umrah. And then when we were there, I'm like, do you want to do a second Umrah? Like do it for your mom, your dad. Obviously, she's grandma. She's in her 70s. Like her parents passed away so long ago. And then she goes, let me do it for my mom. I don't know, that would be nice. And then she did it. And then at the end of it, she was crying. And she goes, I never thought I'd come back. And I never thought I'd do a Umrah for one of my parents. And I'm thinking like, you don't know how much these sacrifices mean to other people. And these are the things on the Day of Judgment where it's like, if I don't go to Jannah, inshallah we'll go to Jannah. But it's like, these are the moments where someone would say, hey, this person helped me. If they can make it to Jannah, inshallah they do. They'll be like, hey, no, Ashraf helped me. Ya Allah, save him. Not the extra class. Not this. Even though those classes are very important. Not putting anything away from it. But it's like, people, man.
Oh, yeah.
People is everything.
There's a story. I don't know if you've seen it. I think Umar Suleiman was saying it. He's like, there was this one guy. He was a scholar and he was about to go to Hajj. I think he was going to go on Umrah or something like that. And then what he did was he had a dream. He had a recurring dream that he had to take this one guy. Like he had to take this one guy with him on that journey. And he's like, bro, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Like, why am I getting this recurring dream? Khalas, I think it's a sign. Allah wants me to do this. So he finds the guy and he tells him, I don't know why, but I keep getting this recurring dream that you need to come with me to Umrah, to Hajj. This guy's not practicing. he doesn't pray salah or anything, yeah? So he goes on the journey, and then he cries, he breaks down, you know, he does his umrahs. And then one time he just goes, like, they had like free time, he's like, I'm gonna go to the Kaaba, I just want to go and do another umrah. I said, all right, I'll see you after. The guy never comes back, and he finds out that the guy passed away praying in front of the Kaaba.
No.
So what happens then is he wants to know, why is this guy so special, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had chosen him to die there. So he comes home and he goes to the guy's wife, like, what did this guy do special, subhanAllah, like, for him to get that honor? And then she goes, he never used to pray, he never used to do any extra ibadah, nothing. Like, this guy wasn't your best Muslim. But there was an old lady he used to always help when he used to walk back home from work. And he used to always help her. She kept saying, may Allah give you a beautiful ending, may Allah give you a beautiful ending. She used to always make that dua for him. And then subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him like the best ending. And this guy wasn't a practicing brother. He didn't have anything special about him besides the fact that he loved to help this old lady, and this old lady made a genuine dua for him. So if you want to talk about character, if you want to talk about, like, in general, like, how important it is to be good to other people, like, think about it, like 90% of the deen is just good character, perfecting character.
That's the thing that people get wrong here in the West. You go there. So I go, you know, like I said, sacrifice everything. I go there and, like, all I want to do is be Masjid Nabawi and do classes. They're like, you weren't born for this. As in, no son of, like, because we use the ayah, you know, we only created mankind and jinn for worship.
Yeah.
You know, which obviously is true, you know, Allah said it. But then you, like, the story of Umar in the mosque, when he sees the guy just sitting in the Prophet's mosque. This is literally the same mosque I was going to every day. And he goes, who takes care of you? You know? Yeah, why are you here? Like, why don't you have a job? Because my brother takes care of all of my, you know, affairs. Because your brother is better than you. So the guy outside of the Prophet's mosque is better than the guy inside. And then my teachers would say, you know, you came here, obviously you want to, learn and be at the Prophet's mosque as much as you can. But your job is to go and learn more things and help the ummah. Like, and then you start to realize, most, like, for example, the Baqi, you know, the cemetery in the Prophet's mosque. So lots and lots of people near the end of their life travel to Medina and stay there, overstay their visa because they want to pass away and be buried in Baqi, which is a beautiful goal, and we all should have the goal to be buried there. And it's a big issue with visas. So they even changed the rules now where you got to, like, say the hotel you're staying at. Certain countries, they're even stricter because it's more common for them to come and stay longer.
Yeah.
And it's hard because some of them don't have hotels, don't have money, and they just sleep on the streets because they know they're going to die.
Yeah.
So Saudi government's just trying to regulate it a lot more. But it's a beautiful ending. But the teachers were saying sometimes it's like us looking for a shortcut into Jannah and into this and that. And I'll talk about the stories of the companions. These guys were fighting in Badr, in Uhud, but why they're buried in Jordan, in Palestine, in Egypt, in random places. They said in China, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, in China. It's like, you think, why? He's like, there's even like Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, when he was buried in Istanbul. They said he was like passed away in his olden age. And even when he was going to fight, they said, you're too old to fight. And he goes, I will go, like, you know, for the path of Allah.
Uthman didn't go Badr either. So
it's like all these things. It's like, but we look for the shortcuts. And these guys are the people that were there that saw the Prophet, and they're like, no, our job is to go out. And only when you go there and you learn from those teachers from Medina, they're like, go back to Australia, teach the deen. But then us, we're like, we need hijrah and we need to save ourselves, which is obviously, you know, everyone's situation is different, but it's like, you still have a role. All the people went and spread Islam. It's like, in Australia, spread Islam. Why do you have to do hijrah?
Yeah.
Spread Islam here. Have a lofty goal of making the entire Australia Muslim. Why not?
Yeah,
it's not that big of a dream.
Yeah, it shows where the priority lies subconsciously as well. When we talk, we're not picking one or two people, but like majority of us living in the West, the way we think, we always think about ourselves and what benefits us. But it's also trying to find what benefits your household, but then also your, at least in the community, and how you can benefit that. And I find that amazing because I remember you telling me these stories about hosting people, and I remember talking to you, and I could see in you that like it wasn't easy to host the people, but obviously may Allah reward you. Like, it's immense. You can think about you seeing people for 2-3 days only. For you in your 9 months of Medina, 2-3 days is tiny, but then you probably changed their whole life. It's like, man, first time in the sacred city of the Prophet, I saw Ashraf and he said something. You could have just said something that you've been saying your whole time there. So those are the important things, and which is amazing to keep with you as a memory.
I think it's the level of teachers and the levels of students of knowledge. In Australia, we have a limited perception. It's like, for example, we take the deen in English. They take it in Arabic.
Yeah.
It's like they have 1,000 books. We got 100. But it's really interesting to hear that, because then you see even the things people debate here or the things people worry about. I'm just like, is this really what the Muslim community should be doing? Like, you come from a Muslim country, like, okay, 8 rakat, 20 rakat. Like, why is that a debate for a month in Ramadan and then it's the moon sighting? I'm thinking, but like, come on, like, you're gonna talk. That means you could talk about for the end of time. This is 1400 years and we're still talking about it.
Wow.
Yeah, but when you went Umrah, life changing for you, yeah.
100%. Bro, I shaved my head. Do you remember how long my hair was?
This guy shaved his head too.
But I had it for 2-3 years. You had it for like 6
10.
years. 10
10,
years,
12 years.
mashallah.
Wow.
So, bro, like, I remember the one thing that stuck with me the whole trip. You know, Sheikh Samir?
Yeah.
He's a legend, man. So, the night before we were going to do Umrah in Medina, and then I was contemplating. I'm like, you know what, if I shave my head, am I doing it for the eyes of the people? You know, everyone's going to say, wow, look at this big sacrifice, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, nah, it's going to ruin my intention. And I can always just do Umrah a couple times and sniff off a bit and then get the dua of the Prophet ﷺ 3 times anyway. This and that. And my heads keep going. And then Samuel goes, come here, bro. He's like, you just got to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because you say to yourself, yeah, the Rasul ﷺ and his Sahaba, they were putting their lives on the line. Your life is way more important than your hair. Do you know what I mean? And how you look. You won't be able to look because you're dead. Like, you know what I mean? If you put your life on the line. So he was just like, what are you willing to sacrifice? And what are the promises that you've made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala behind closed doors about your belief and who you are as a Muslim? And I was just like, no, I can't not do it.
Especially first time.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, Allah invited you after all this time. And
Yeah, I might never go back.
sacrifice.
And I might never go back. I might never get the invitation again.
What do you think? Because for me, like, reflecting, sometimes when you, even like back other umrahs that I've done, like, what do you think makes an umrah life changing? Because a lot of people tell me life changing umrah, like, and I'm just thinking, like, what makes it that? Because it becomes normal, like, like for us, and then it was hard to reflect on it. Because I'm thinking, like, do I have a life changing umrah moment where I made a dua and it came true? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, see, these type of things, people are like, bro, like, Umrah changed my life.
It's
I'm like,
interesting how that works.
Well, alhamdulillah, like, I did make dua for a lot of things. One of them was obviously to get married. And I asked Allah for some very specific things. And subhanAllah, they all ended up turning out in the person that I married, subhanAllah. And I can't attribute that to anything besides that Umrah. And I remember when I was doing those walks, it's like whenever you make a dua, I remember speaking to one of the sheikhs that was taking us on our ziyaras. He's like to me, whenever you make a dua, you have to understand something. Allah answers your dua in 3 ways. Either he gives you exactly what you asked for, he gives you something better than what you asked for, or he withholds it for you for the akhirah. So it's just like, I gotta be like, number one, I've gotta be like I gotta have full faith and tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he has my best interest at heart and his decision making is perfect. So whatever he's decreed for me, whether it's what I asked for, whether it's not what I asked for, that path is solid for me because he's the one who's written it. So coming to terms with everything and like having that genuine belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted those du'as that I've made, leaving that place, the feeling was different.
I get that.
Not the shaved head part, not the walking in the ihram part, not the physical stuff, but like the metaphysical feeling when you leave the place and you actually feel like 100 kilos lighter.
You feel like Allah's got your back. Like anything you ask for, it's like Allah's got me. And that is what it is. Yeah, I get you.
And alhamdulillah, like I feel like it's carried out to today. Like you get the occasional flare-ups of like, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this? Oh my God. And then you remember, like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, literally, the Quran is the guide, man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us consistently in our lives, I got you. Yeah. Just have faith. Just chill. Have faith. I'm behind the wheel. If you believe that I'm the most merciful, I'm Fattah, I'm Razaq, If you believe that I've got everything, all those qualities that I've stated in my names, in those 99 names that you've learned about me in, you have no issue. You should have no worries in this world. You shouldn't be grieving. You should obviously have your human moments, and obviously like you feel it at the time when it's inflicted, and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put you in a position to be able to automatically just be patient. But if you always come back to it, and you always find yourself like putting that full faith and tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then everything will be fine, bro. Like it literally works itself out.
I think it's the being specific with your du'as as well, because like you said, there's the moment where it's like Allah's got my back, and then when it actually does happen, you're like life changing, because life altering at the start, and then life changing when it actually does happen. But being specific is the game changer, because that's one of the advices I got, where, for example, one of my, Ahmed the Musafir. So he came on Umrah, like as soon as the day I arrived in Medina, he was leaving. So I saw him. He was my first person I saw. And I was talking to him, and I'm like, bro, because he does it with the Umrah group. I'm like, how is it? He goes, bro, life changing. He goes, one of the advices I'd give is when you go on Umrah, be as specific as possible. Like, don't say, for example, Ya Allah, say, Ya Allah, help me on my journey and stuff, but be specific. Be, for example, journey of, fiqh, aqidah, history, whatever I want, bring me closer to my teachers in Melbourne. And then he, for example, he said Umrah. He said one of the things he asked for, he goes, Ya Allah, I would like to come on Umrah, but allow me to come for free. Allow me to come back and not pay a dollar. I'm like, okay, that's interesting dua. He goes, 3 months later, an Umrah company reached out and said, hey, can you come and be like a featured guest? And now he goes for free. He goes, only from that dua. And he goes, if I said, Ya Allah, allow me to come on Umrahs more often, like, which is what I normally say, what does that really mean?
Yeah.
But then you start saying, Ya Allah, allow me to go on Umrah once every 3 years, which was the goal. Then it's like, then these stuff that happen, you're like, damn, Allah's actually fulfilling it. Because when it's too broad, you don't think it's from Allah, you just think it just happens.
Yeah.
But it's like you're being specific.
And there's mashaykh that always tell us, like, for example, even bigger than Umrah, Hajj, There's mashaykh that say, like, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to come back here every year for Hajj. It seems virtually impossible, right? Like 13K, 20K, whatever it is. But subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens doors for certain people. Do you know what I mean? I remember there was this one story of this guy. Apparently there was a flood in Pakistan or something like that. And they were really in need of like funds, and they were doing like a telethon thing. He was on there. He was like, look, this was my savings for Hajj. I was just about to go with my family. I've been saving for X amount of years. And then he goes, but I know that there's people in need more than I am. So I'm going to give all that savings to the cause. And then some guy who owns a Hajj company, he goes like, and he's like first class, like everything for his Hajj packages. He's like, whoever that guy is, find his name, his number. I'm taking him for free. Everything first class paid for, taken care of. And this guy's like rolling in the best of circles in that Hajj.
Bro, you can't, like, this stuff doesn't feel real. Like, imagine we see videos online all the time and we just scroll. Gaza, scroll. I'm not being like, man, he'd give my life savings. Subhanallah, people are different, man. People are so different, and it's there's levels to the game.
There's tawakkul. See, that's the whole point. The whole point is that, okay, I give this up now. Maybe I get pardoned in the hereafter. That's our main goal. Our main goal is Jannah. In the end of the day, whether we like it or not, this world's a bridge. Like, no matter how much emphasis we put on like being a student of knowledge and being a hafiz of the Quran and having a beautiful recitation and all of these things, but the end goal is seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure and His love. Yeah,
that's the goal, but our metric of who's doing it right is completely wrong. Because you'd see someone, for example, he's got 10 juz, this guy must be practicing, or he's wearing a thobe. Even a thobe, bro, the amount of Muslim countries that don't wear thobes is crazy. Like half the Muslim countries aren't wearing thobes, like on their everyday attire. Even the Middle East, half the Middle East don't wear thobes. Palestine, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, not too sure about Iran, but then it's just the Khaliji regions, It's like they don't wear thobes.
It's cultural attire, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly. In the end of the day.
But us at the mosque here, what's our metric? But it's not good character, which is more, it's what they say, the two characteristics of the people of Jannah. It's taqwa wa husnul khuluq, good character and consciousness of Allah. So it is the things you should be attaining for. Like you said, it's the heaviest thing. you know. But we have these different metric. Oh, this guy does this, and I'm like, subhanallah, man, it's so wrong.
Definitely.
And like character, and you see that with when I'm traveling and stuff, or the people I meet. Even in Medina, you meet people half it, and they're like trying to scam you. And I'm like, bro, like,
Oh my god.
yeah, like, come on, cuz, you know, he's lying to me. He goes, yeah, you know, I'm this and that. I'm like, you know,
Yeah, nah, that one made me laugh. I actually almost got scammed by this Egyptian guy.
no.
And I remember there was Hamza and Muhsin. I was going on their Umrah trip, obviously, for Al-Haramain. And there was this random Egyptian guy. Habibi, I was a part of this. And I know this and I know that and this, that. And I'm like, bro, we're right in front of the Prophet's graves. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And I'm thinking to myself in the Rawdah, I'm like, there's no way you're not fearing the fact that you're in a very sacred place and you're trying to scam me. There's no way. But then I like overestimated the fact that he has that consciousness because he looked like he did. And he felt like he did. And then one of my mates was like, Hamza was like, sit down. I'm like, why? He's like, the guy's a scammer, bro. He's trying to get money off you. He goes, oh, Allah, I don't want money. The Saudi government's helping me, this is that. And then at the end, he got like so offended that I didn't go with him. Wherever he wanted to go, he wanted to take me to the Rawdah. Or he was going to get me in because he knows the guards.
Oh god.
So I started laughing. I'm just like, yeah, I want to go Rawdah. I missed my booking. I want to try. But like, they know that some people, like, there's out of 100,000 people that they meet, one or two guys is going to end up like.
But even on Umrah, there's people in Ihram trying to scam you.
Yeah.
Like, they might just put it on. But these type of experiences, you're like, and things, a lot of people have tough experiences because they get scammed. They get something like one of these things happen, or, you know, they even get tested. And then we beautify, for example, Medina and Mecca. I'm like, how can someone from Medina have bad intentions? That's impossible. This place is perfect. But Islam's perfect, not the location or the people.
Yeah, I want to talk a bit about that because a lot of people still, and also listening to this, will have the idea of wanting to travel there or even study as well. And I would even say, to an extent, a lot of people delay studies or travel in general because they'll be like, oh, I'll wait till I get married. I didn't want to say difficulties, but what was the reality like studying as a single man and studying as a married man? Just for people to kind of get a better picture.
The reality is less responsibilities, whatever it is, kids, wife, business, less responsibilities, more time to study and more time to focus. That's just everything. In life, you're always going to have more responsibility. Even a wife isn't a lot to manage. But then when you got a kid who's dependent on you, that's going to be more than multiple kids. Your life's always going to get busier. And your journey of studying, doesn't matter what it is, watching a YouTube series or just, you know, reading a book, going to a local class, it doesn't start when you get married. You should just be there and be there forever. You know, like, it's not like, oh, okay, I'm going overseas. That's also the biggest difference I saw with students that was successful in Medina and students that weren't. It was people that had a foundation before they got there. They're like, yeah, I've been doing classes in my home country. Now they just go and they roll. I wasn't doing Arabic before I got there. It took me like a month just to get back into routine because I'm new place, you know, language, food, finding out this. And then it takes a bit, I don't have as much free time to start studying, start listening more. So getting the routine earlier, I think whenever you can, just start. Like even 10 minutes a day, like a lecture series. You know, we used to listen to audiobooks on YouTube. Wallah, it goes a long way. But it's about not having gaps of months where you don't listen to anything. Because you just listen to an audiobook online, you know, listen to a lecture series. You just keep gaining knowledge. It's just not, it doesn't have to be a lot, but even just one lecture a week, whatever, and just consistent. It goes such a long way, man.
I think a lot of people think they're waiting for this grand moment.
Yeah.
You know, like this one big moment is going to change their life. And they're all of a sudden going to become like mashayikh, you know what I mean?
It's the same idea. Like when, Ramadan's starting next week, I'll start then. Like I'll start to read more. I'll start to watch more lectures. Like Ramadan comes, I'm the same bloke. Like it's going to be just as difficult the same day to get into that new habit. Same thing as traveling overseas. I've been a culprit of that, trying to go study Arabic overseas. And then Hassan, our cousin, was like, oh yeah, you should study, you know, the first level before you go. I'm like, yeah. And I never did it because it's obviously difficult and you procrastinate when it's difficult. And you got there, it's like, why didn't I do this?
The thing is, look, I like having shared memories with people. That's the one thing there. Like, for example, knowledge is usually for yourself to get close to Allah. But when you can have like a shared memory, you get closer with people, you know? Like, even when people come on Umrah and I do Umrah with them, like now we look back, we're like, man, that was crazy, you know? So it's always nicer if you can, you know, doing it with your spouse, you know? Like, but what I wanted to really change was all the boys in Melbourne that we know went to overseas when they were single. Because obviously more money, you know, easier, less responsibilities, and they go. But not a lot of boys were doing it when they got married from my area. So it's a good thing to be like, marriage doesn't have to stop you from chasing your dreams. It might change the dreams a little, maybe make it a bit more expensive, but like life doesn't stop when you get married. You know, whatever it is, travel. That's literally why I didn't just do Arabic and come home. I'd be like, oh, that's the guy that went and studied Arabic. It's like, no, I'm also traveling the world. You know, it's like whatever dream it is, you can just do it. But a lot of people have a different perspective. They're like, I'll do it all and then I'll get married. It's boring, bro. You're gonna raise your kids with someone and you don't want to have cool memories with them.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like, you know, the uncle and auntie law, like mum and dad law. You literally have like, you talk to your kids like, yeah, we used to live in Medina. We traveled, been to 40 countries, whatever. And we've done this and we've done that. So this is, you know, and then you raise your kids on different lessons you've learned throughout the time. This is a good thing, you know. Character is more important than, you know, finishing this book or doing this, you know. Let's go travel. This culture has this. Let's try to incorporate this. This is a good habit.
So, but like, this is the thing. I think a lot of the times, some people, when they get married, their financial situation might not allow it. Does that make sense? So, or they might have a survival mindset where they're just thinking about surviving and they're scared about what the future holds. Bro, budget is a big thing. And I don't know how you did it, but I think you're going to have to tell us.
Yeah,
it's
let's
as simple as this. Pre-recording, you said your car, you should have bought a 7K car. From what I remember with the car, I don't know exact numbers, we don't have to say it. If you bought a 7K car and you saved that other money, you would have been able to go 9 months in Medina and still have change.
Wow.
Just a choice. I buy a 7K car, I use the rest of the money, and I get 9 months in Medina. That's it. My wife's never worked full time. I've worked full time.
2 years, wasn't it?
I've been, when I left April, maybe 2 years at the time. Like, it wasn't like I worked 10 years, but from 2018, I always saved money, put money aside. And that was the goal. One day I'm going to go overseas. Anything I bought that was expensive was my car for like 7K. That's it. And I just boom, boom, boom.
If you don't mind me asking, can we work around like a range just to get an idea for people listening in terms of, you know, savings to take for a 6 month time? Like, that's why I don't want to give a specific amount that you took, or just say this range will do me well. 6 months of travel for rent, food.
But in Medina, we'll talk
Medina, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Medina, I had a very lucky situation. So February was my most expensive month when I had the car rental and rent. So from August to Jan, I got a car for free. I saved $800 a month, which obviously is a lot of money. That was my rent. So most of the time it was, I said 2 to 3K a month. Most of the time.
Australian?
Yeah, Australian.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. Most of the time, because rent 800, we say bills 200, so 1,000, and then 250 a week, just food, eating out. That's 2,000, because 2 people, and then classes and stuff. So even close to 3,000 Aussie.
Yeah.
Okay, so
which is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But you got to save, you know.
But you think about what you get in return as well in terms of
access to Masjid and Nabawi,
lifetime experiences.
Well, couples that go on Umrah with a tour group, they spend 6K each, 12K.
That's true.
So you say, okay, 12K, or I live in Medina for 4 months.
That's a good.
Same money, same flight. You pick.
Yeah.
Do Umrah 4 times or once. And that includes Arabic classes, that includes Quran. It's just choices, you know. And it's not like and the thing is, you have to save for years. Like, you know, you have to be diligent. You have to not, you know, go extravagant. COVID really helped because I wasn't going out. But it's all choices. Alhamdulillah, we're privileged to be in Australia and we can save. I was living at home. But I was married for a year plus before I even left. My wife wasn't working. And I wasn't making a good salary. Like, I was making under 80. It's not like I was making, you know, like if you're making 150K and you could save bro. I was making under 80,000 for 2 years. It's not like grand money, but it's just budgeting habits.
Yeah.
It's just budgeting habits. I used to save 85% of my salary, maybe more.
MashaAllah.
You know, like everything was saving.
Yeah, it starts from the city you're living in.
No investing into like something that gave me a good return on investment. You know,
just put it aside.
Yeah, and
I think a lot of people get this wrong. Like, they think that you just woke up one day and you had the money in your pocket. Do you know what I mean?
Well, my dad gave me money. No money from parents, nothing.
Yeah.
People helped. Look, car came. When my grandma came, she goes, here's a couple $100. When my sisters came, they said, oh, let me chip in for rent because we moved out to a bigger place. But, like, it's the blessing of the money. And I think that's where, for example, budgeting, all this stuff, that's the practical tips, which 100% I stand by. You know, it's like I put in work to do it. I understand that. But then it's the blessings of the money. Because I had the choice. Okay, do I travel with my wife? Because we did 2 months Europe. And then we went and we did Korea, Japan, 1 month Asia. And then we went Medina. Because we had to wait for the guy to leave August. Because Hajj time. So I said, okay, do we just travel 6 months and then we go Medina? No. Let's prioritize Medina. And then we do Medina first. Whatever happens, if we weren't even planning on doing any full-time travel. So we said, let's go Medina and we'll come back. My mum, we knew the plan. We'll come back in Feb. We'll do like 6-7 months and we'll come back. And then we applied for Hajj, got rejected. And we said, let's spend all of our money. And now we're spending every dollar.
So let's talk about the timeline, just in case somebody who doesn't know this is watching it right now. So you began in Medina. You stayed there for 8 months. Is that correct?
So May 2nd,
Yep.
I left until July 4, and I did 2 months of travel with my wife. We did Europe for 7 weeks, 1 week Asia.
So we're in Europe.
From Austria, from Milan, we did. Now this is when you start getting a list. So we went Milan, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Bosnia, Montenegro, Kosovo, Albania.
Okay, and that's over that 2 month span.
From May 2nd to July 4 last year.
Which countries a must visit out of those? Pick one. Don't give me
Bosnia,
no list.
Bosnia.
Okay, Bosnia. Khalas.
Yeah.
Now, we'll come back to those and we'll go into a little more in depth. So now you've done May till June.
July 4, I came to Melbourne for 13 days for Ali's wedding, less than 2 weeks. And then I went Japan, Korea, Malaysia, and then we flew to Medina.
Japan, Korea, Malaysia, and then Medina.
Because we had to come August. So we just left. We had used points. We flew to Japan. I waited there, and then until the guy said start of August when I was allowed to come. And then boom, August 4, I got there.
So, out of the 3 Asian countries that you went to,
Korea.
That's it. Not Japan.
Nah, Korea. But Korea doesn't hit my top 5.
I'm offended now.
Yeah, I can tell.
Good.
It's okay. But Korea doesn't hit your top 5.
Nah.
Neither does Japan. Neither does Malaysia.
I don't even know if Japan's top 10.
Wow.
Maybe top 9. Top
This
10.
is some controversial stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Why is Japan not better than Korea?
Let me set the whole timeline.
All right. Let's do the timeline. So now you've done Korea, Japan, Malaysia, and then you've gone to Medina. Medina, 8 months.
So from August 4 to April 13. But twice I left for visas, new visas. Once to Jordan, second time Jordan, Palestine.
Wow.
I was Palestine in February.
Okay, beautiful. How far is the flight from Medina to?
I think 2 hours, something like that.
Okay,
2 hours and a
nice.
half, yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Jordan's a bit expensive with visas and stuff, but we went Palestine, which is why we went second time.
How was it? What was the vibe like, bro?
Oh man, unreal, wallah. Especially, it was a bit emotional because last time we went was our honeymoon, 2023, and it was a lot more active then. But since everything happening, in Gaza, it's quieted down a lot. And you felt bad for the locals and stuff. But just connecting with the people, man, there's nothing like Al-Aqsa. Nothing like it. That's why you can't compete when you say like favorite places. It's like the 3 harams, khalas, and then you talk about the rest.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, did you sense anything different from the first time you had gone to Al-Aqsa than the time that you went after? Like, because obviously now things have heightened. Or I think they were really high at the time that you had gone. 2023 was...
The thing is, it's always a bit tough. It's always because there's incidents that we don't even, it doesn't hit the news that they know. Like, for example, a store will get raided in Old City that we don't know about, and then everyone's frightened, but then we have no idea why.
Yeah.
So I think Al-Aqsa, you know, it's a blessed place, and they're strong people. When you go to these places, anywhere that's doing it tough, you learn so much from them. They can go through all of that and be more happy, more content than us. It's crazy, you know?
Did you think about going to Syria?
Inshallah. Next time I come back, inshallah.
I was thinking that as well. I was overseas in Jordan when I think it was like a few days before the liberation. There was all these Syrian flags and scarves, but it was way too early, so I couldn't.
Yeah, so we had, when we left April 13, we had all the time in the world to pick where we wanted to go. And I'm like, all right, where should we go? And I said, I want to go Lebanon. I said, our Arabic is our strongest. Now you'll be able to connect the most. Now my Arabic, it's been 3 months since then. Like, it's obviously going to get weaker. So I said, let's go Middle East. And Dream was like, I want to go Oman, you know? And obviously that's still Middle East, but I wanted to go Lebanon, Syria, stuff like that. And then she said, let's go, because summer is really hard to travel during July, especially with the hijabi. It's 40 degrees. So we said we'll go Central Asia, and then we'll go without a timeline to the Middle East, which is why I want to go soon, inshallah, if things get better.
Sure. So that's on the cards for the next round, yeah?
That's the next things we want to do, Middle East.
Inshallah.
So a bit more Asia, Middle East, and then Africa. Africa's
all right, let's not ruin it for everyone.
Big episode about travel and stuff. But was there anything else in Medina that we didn't touch on?
So I wanted there was actually a question I wanted to finish off with, unless there's more I missed
the budget
out on.
and the money and stuff.
Well, more about just in general, because now you're back, and I wanted to know, how do you carry Medina with you in everyday life? Being back in Melbourne, your hometown, you're a completely different person, especially internally, how you feel and the experiences you've been through. How do you carry Medina in your everyday life?
SubhanAllah. I think the main takeaway I got from Medina is what's very common around all the Muslim countries is being of service to people. Like the idea of you go and people like they're so hospitable and stuff. That's something us Muslims in the West, we've leaned more towards the Western side, and we've taken that away, you know? So I think just trying to be of service to people, hosting people, you know, taking care of your guests, stuff like that. That's really one of the takeaways that I've tried to, like the idea of being a Madani, you know, being a person of Medina. What does that mean? Preferring other people over yourself, you know?
SubhanAllah, I didn't even think of it like that. You know, like the fact that Amr brought that up, and it's like, is it just a common concept amongst all of those Talibah?
I think so, because you sacrifice, you take that, you know, you take that risk, but it's like that's literally what the culture of the people is. You know, it's like you hear these analogies, like he says, like, congratulations, you're Madani. He literally said congratulations. The other guy's zakat. One guy told me the people of Medina are like fish. You take them out of the water, you take them out of Medina, and they die.
Wow.
And it's like, damn. And it's like, and you hear this stuff just by talking to people, and you're like, we're not as proud of where we come from. You know, like we're not saying, oh, we're from Melbourne or this and that. So this is like, and there's a link to Islam through it. It's, you know, we're the caretakers of the Prophet's mosque, and we're the, you know, Allah. Like one guy, my teacher, Arabic teacher, 10 years in Medina. His kids are in Egypt. And he goes, I can get a job in Egypt. I'm educated, I can do that. But his teacher said, Allah has blessed and made your rizq in Medina. Do not go elsewhere for it. Like your rizq, all your money, your livelihood to take care of your family is in Medina, so do not go elsewhere. And that's his mindset. He goes, 10 years without my kids, very tough. I go 1 month a year. But Allah put my money to make in Medina. I'm like, damn, look at these guys' perspective on a location. Us, we're just like, yeah, whatever, Melbourne, Sydney, wherever my risk is, we'll go. But these guys are like, have just a different level of thinking. And he doesn't even go to Masjid Nabawi. He goes, I go once every week, once every fortnight, once a month, because he's just working.
Wow.
A lot of people don't go. My teacher for after Fajr, he goes, I go Juma once a month and Ramadan. That's the only time I'm allowed to go, because he has to lead at his local mosque.
Wow.
I'm like, what a tough gig. You're in Medina. Yeah.
No, that would be like torture, bro. Imagine you can see it. It's in
I know. It's tough because I want to go to classes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even neighbors, man. These like us Australians. I don't know, when you moved out, did you like knock on the door to your neighbors? Hey, my name's Suhail. Here's a gift. So Jamima and I, every time we moved out, we said we're gonna do that. Never did it. Medina, we said we're gonna do it. You get lazy. Only the neighbor across us. Everyone's in apartment buildings. They find out someone's new. They come. They knock on our door. They say, "Come have us over." They're just the nicest people.
Mm-hmm.
Our neighbors across the hall were Syrians. First night of Ramadan, they hosted us. They came, they said, we'll take care of you. They used to come drop food over. You know, I used to go somewhere. They're like, you want us to take you? Because obviously they had a car. Like, we'll take you somewhere. And they used to just come drop off stuff. Like, actually how neighbors should be. But us in the West, I couldn't even adapt to the Muslim way of having a neighbor. Like, I see them salams.
Yeah.
You bear me on.
So
Like,
casual,
I got studies to do, you know? It's like, these guys were like, come in, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes they just say it, but a lot of times they'll get offended if you don't come. And then you know it's genuine, because it's different with your neighbors than the fake gesture on the road. This guy actually wants a connection with you, you know? And Jamima used to go once a week to the neighbor downstairs, have tea with them. You know, the Syrian guy used to tell me all the time, you know, come over. Like, they have a different perspective on this stuff. Like, things that are Islamically, you know, guided, not just culture, but we just like completely.
Yep.
You feel bad, man.
Big takeaway.
Yeah. You feel bad.
I wanted to also ask if there's any last things we've missed as co-hosts, and just anything of your experiences that come to mind that you'd love to share.
Look, I think talking about a 9-month journey, there's always going to be things we miss. And you just have to be content with that. It literally went the way Allah wanted. The only other thing, though, is it's not about me going to Medina. It's like about the idea that when I come back, I chased the dream and I made it happen through the plan of Allah. But through trying, not through me being special. You know? Like, Allah, I didn't get a formal invitation. Hey, Ashraf, I didn't get an email. Hey, Ashraf, why don't you come live next to the Prophet's mosque for 9 months? You know, that'll be cool. No one told me that's a good idea. Why don't you think about that? I just thought about it, tried, Allah opened the door. So it's the same thing for any other goal you have. No one might tell you, hey, you should start a business. If that's your goal, do it. And there's no, like, for example, a lot of people can't afford it, you know, and they live in different circumstances. But for a lot of Australians, you know, living in similar, like if someone from Australia can do it, even without a full-time job or double income, man, you can do the same thing. There's people there doing it with kids from, you know, less developed countries. Like, it's the mindset is the flaw in the Australian community more than anything. The mindset. And that's really what you want to change. It's like, if that guy can do it, I can do it too. But then sometimes, like, so how I was saying, like, budgeting, like, how is that possible? It's like, this guy's been working full time just as long as me. You know? But it's like, are you saving? Are you doing this and that? Which maybe we could do an episode on, like with finances and stuff. But just dreaming and making it happen, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the reasons why we love talking about our travels so much. Not just because it's like, oh, Ali went here, Ashraf went there. It's more of like the idea of like what's possible out there, yeah? And no matter what situation you are in your life, whether you have a kid, you're married, or even single with just a casual job, what's possible? What can you even do from your hometown? So like we're talking about the idea of studying something, studying a language. How can I start in my own hometown? How can I save towards that future travel idea? Those type of things, I think, recognizing what's possible. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, studying is so important. Any goal you have, you just got to do it. Yeah, studying Arabic, you know, these type of opportunities. It's sometimes once in a lifetime. And you don't know if the opportunity will come again. And you got to take risks. You got to be willing to spend your life savings, quit your job, you know, maybe cancel career progression, put yourself in, you know. Like everything's about risk and reward.
Yeah. I would love to say as well, on behalf of most of the boys in that as well, that it's truly inspiring what you did, the 9 months of Medina. Alhamdulillah, like we take a lot from it. Alhamdulillah, I had the chance to go for 10 days. And inshallah, we get to do similar experiences ourselves, if not together in the future. For people that are listening, a lot of people, like maybe you guys as well listening, you might not have someone to talk to in terms of traveling or studying to go overseas. Reach out to Ashraf, reach out to his travel page that we'll do another episode specifically on about content creation. I think they'll be good, because if you have any other questions, or even reach out to the podcast if it's a more professional approach, and inshallah you get the chance to travel or even study to go overseas. But we'll be doing a 3-part series, if I'm not mistaken, inshallah, for Ashraf, since he's back. One will be content creation and the other one you just have to wait and see, inshallah. So it's good to have Ashraf back on the podcast. Inshallah you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.